So, by one great Indian master, 8th century, Shantideva. So we are continuously discussing about chapter number 8, which is about concentration, and which is about how to control our daily distractions and mental dullness. And so this chapter will give information about what is the obstacles to attend meditation, and what is antidote during meditation time, what antidote you should apply. So therefore this chapter so we continuously keep on these chapters. And so first I will read this first 101, I think. Such things as continuum and aggregation, and falls in the same way as prayer beats and army. There is no really honor of suffering. Therefore, who has control over it? There's been no inherent honor of suffering. There can be no distraction at all between that of myself and others. Thus I shall dispel it because it hurts. Why am I so certain that I shouldn't eliminate the suffering of others? So this basically, so here Shantideva was talking about the Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching. So Buddha taught lots of teaching. So like Kaingyu, which is 100 volumes, and Tengyu is 212 volumes. So therefore, we don't have enough time. So many lifetimes we have to study all these kind of things. But point here is that all teaching, divided into two, right? Scripture and realization. So scripture is learning this. For example, like we are learning these teachings. Shantideva chapter number 8. So scripture is like giving information, what is the purpose of meditation, and how to apply remedy, and how to dispel the our two men grasping, self-grasping, and innate intellectual grasping and inner grasping. So Buddha told that Buddha's teaching is, if we learn the scripture teaching and realization, and if we put into the practice, so it's just like medicine. It's not like temporary medicine. When we have temporary medicine, like, so this will help you to cure our temporary, pain, suffering. So if we have like internal problem, which is mental afflictions and mental delusions, mental depressions and problem. So we need to rely on the Dharma. Dharma is like if we study and know all the information and put it into the practice, then it is like medicine, It will not only temporarily cure the problem, but it will cut what we call the Buddhist viewpoint. We will cut the root cause of problem, which is fundamental ignorance. So if it is very clear, when anger arises, when attachment arises, all these delusion arise, we can see very clear all these created by the misconception self, which is kind of like fundamental not understanding of the reality of the self. So it's very clear. It's also very clear, if there is a misconception self, which is creating all this, anger, attachment, whatever root cause of pain and suffering, there is also antidote, antidote, which is understanding the reality of the phenomena. So therefore, that scripture, Buddha taught about the scripture and put into practice, or the realization should go together, There's no conflict, understanding scripture and realization, no conflict. So both are very much close related, cause and effect. So therefore, that whatever we study, so it's very important to analyze, to examine thoroughly, analyzing, and then through analyzing or through analytical meditation, then you will find the answer, which is definite experience answer. And then if sometimes people may say, oh, what's the point of doing this? What's the point of practicing Dharma? But because of your analytical meditation or your thoroughly examination, you will follow the scripture, So you are not influenced by, bad company, people, something like that. So therefore, these two scripture and put into practice should go together. Very, very important. Information and then experience. So if we have, there's a good example given by some great master, like if little children, little child have no experience of the life, right? Just, like newborn baby have no experience of the life, and maybe 1-2 years old baby, and if parent told, don't touch the fire, the baby will not accept, Baby will not, because no experience of the life. But if baby himself touch the fire, and then next time when he or she see the fire, will not touch the fire, because experience the fire, right? Similarly, teachings are like that, whatever we learn, we should put into the practice. Okay, so that's why scripture and practice should go together. Now when we talk about this Dharma, as I mentioned before, Dharma is like medicine, So it's very clear we have this physical body and we have mind, So our body and mind, right? So the body is biological, right? Given by the parent. But the mind, different questions, mind is not biological, it's not given by the parent, right? So we see very clear body is, our physical body is, biological and given by the parent, but the mind we have is not given by the parent. So if it is not given by the parent, then the question is, where does the mind come from? It comes from the question, So that's why Buddhist teaching, we have to study about, about structure of the physical body and the structure of the mind, So therefore, so here in the Buddhist text, when we talk about mind, right? So there are many different levels of mind and different types of mind, and so according to like different schools of the Tibetan Buddhism, sometimes we speak about the fundamental nature of the mind, right? Sometimes we speak about innate nature of the mind. Sometimes we speak about the all-pervading mind. Sometimes we speak about the pure nature, pure awareness, Rigpa, like that. So there are many different levels talking about mind, but it's very important we should not confuse about the mind, So we have first, let me talk about when we must distinguish between ordinary mind and our pristine pure awareness mind, So we need to distinguish between ordinary mind and pristine awareness mind. So ordinary mind is generally speaking, temporarily, covered by the disturbing emotions on the basis of the dualistic experience of the subject and object. Whenever we experience ordinary mind, anger arises, there is a dualistic appearance of the object and the subject. So the ordinary minds are on the based on which is temporarily covered by the disturbing emotions on the basis of the dualistic appearance of the object and the subject. But this pure awareness mind is completely, it is completely free, clear from the beginning to the end, So therefore Buddha said, do not rely on the ordinary consciousness, relying on the exalted wisdom, pristine awareness consciousness. So it is very important we need to, when we speak about ordinary mind, so it means it's temporarily covered by the disturbing emotions, and pure awareness mind means completely free from the dualistic appearance from the beginning to the end. So this is what we need to distinguish about ordinary mind and pure awareness mind. But we should not confuse about like on the some, like when somebody is speaking about fundamental nature of the mind, right? And some speaking about the clear nature of the mind. Some is speaking about all pervading pristine awareness mind. But all these are exactly same, okay? We talk about mother care light and child care light. We should not confuse them. These are very important. So distinguish between, first we need to distinguish between ordinary mind and pure Rigpa awareness mind. Now when we finish, we are not relying on the ordinary mind, right? Because in ordinary mind, we should rely on the exalted wisdom mind will give you more and more answer. Ordinary mind, we cannot go farther. There's not deep answer. So if we rely on this this pure awareness mind, right? What is the quality of this pure awareness mind, right? This is we talk about what is the it must have three qualities, right? So it is essence, nature, and purity. That is the quality of the pure awareness mind, essence. So it means that we are talking about that we distinguish between these two types of mind, right? Ordinary mind and the pristine awareness mind. From the viewpoint of the pristine awareness mind, quality is essence, nature, and purity. So it means this pristine, it means that we are talking about that this pristine awareness mind is spontaneously present and timeless nature, empty, and primordial purity. That is the quality of this mind, right? Nature, essence, nature, and purity is spontaneously present. Everybody has this mind. It's no matter who you are. From we have this spontaneously present is essence, timelessly empty is nature, and the primordially pure is the purity. We have this mind all the times. So that mind we consider ground-based mind. It is ground to everything we experience. Samsara, nirvana, pure, impure, all these we experience on the basis of this mind. This pure awareness mind, like essence, nature, and purity, which is ground, we call ground, which is the base of everything which we experience. Emotion, thought, perception, purity, impurity, whatever. It is ground, it is the basis of all our experience. So therefore, it's called ground, got a ground level, right? Once we recognize this ground, right, which is essence, nature, and purity, so what we should do is we need to unify, right? Skillful means, right? So this spontaneous presence and emptiness unify. Skillful, which is like we are talking about, skillful, which is like developing compassion and all Bodhisattva mind. So skillful. This spontaneous presence should unify with the empty. So once we introduce this ground level of the mind, right, what we should do, have to practice path, path, ground, path, and fruit, right? So it's like ground is the base, path is process of your developing your mind, right? Fruit is the result. So once we recognize this ground level mind, right, path. So that means in Tibetan we call terche, it means spontaneous, and kata, which is what we call the primordially pure. So this path, once we recognize the ground level, right? So this path level is process of our developing our mind, process of gradually, increase our mind, right? So that path in two levels. Approaching based on the spontaneous presence, and approaching based on the primordial pure mind. These two, approaching spontaneous presence, approaching based on the primordial pure mind. These two should unify, practice together, skillful. So if we, which means if we are, this is which is like one is as when we practice this together, like this approaching basis on the spontaneous presence, approaching basis on the primordial purity, and practice and meditation lead you to the fruit, which is like the two fruit, Dharmakaya and Nirmanakaya. Dharmakaya means innate lucidity lead you to the Dharmakaya. Outer lucidity or the luminous lead you to the Nirmanakaya, which is we call the Dharmakaya body, right? Dharmakaya body and the Nirmanakaya, like Bodhisattva Muni, achieve Dharmakaya and then manifest Nirmanakaya, born in India, and then he started giving teaching, and we all ordinary people we receive this teaching, right? So therefore this so this is very important, right? We need to distinguish between ordinary mind and pristine awareness mind. So when we distinguish these two types of mind, then we have to know the nature of the purity mind, which is three qualities, right? So essence, nature, essence, and purity. Then we know this is ground level, which is base of everything. On the basis of ground, then we have to practice path, right, level, which is like your daily learning meditations and concentrating, and then you will experience this spontaneous presence and purity, primordial purity, which unify together. So once you practice this again and again, meditation, then this will lead you to the Dharmakaya and Nirmakaya. So this is what we call the ground, path, and fruit. On the so therefore, so this is the Buddha's teaching. So we have to know structure of the our mind, and we have to know the structure of our body. So when we know the structure of the mind, then whenever some thoughts, emotion arise, so then we have remedy or attitude. What should we do? And we can apply meditation. So therefore, this mind also divided into three in the from the viewpoint of our Dzogchen. It's divided into three, which is it's called the primordial wisdom of the Rigpa. That is essence, primordial wisdom of the Ripa, that is nature. Primordial wisdom of the nature, that's purity. So these three levels. This is fifth Dalai Lama's teaching. We call the pure visions. So His Holiness fifth Dalai Lama's teaching. So I received this teaching in 1992. Before I became Geshe. So His Holiness is giving this teaching in South India. And though in this teaching, like discuss about this Ripa awareness mind, which is the primordial wisdom of the Ripa, that is essence, primordial wisdom of the Ripa, that is nature, primordial wisdom of the Ripa, that is purity. So we have to know this essence, nature and purity. Once we know that, right, essence, nature and purity, then we will discuss about the view, meditation and action. View is like mountain, not moving, like mountain. Like view is just like, right? And then meditation is just like an ocean, We see, the waves are coming from the ocean on the surface, but deep down, ocean remain very firm and steady. And then action means free from the perceptions. So that means during meditation time, your mind should not controlled by this sensory consciousness, eye, ear, nose. Completely during meditation time, mind is free from the perceptions. So meditation, view, meditation and action. So view is like not moving, So meditation time, right? We will move our mind. If we have not enough, like if we have not enough intelligence, or the mind will move fast and not remain on focus on the object, right? So whenever we try to meditate, it will go outside of meditation. So if we practice, so your mind become like mountain, unmoving, So all these thought, emotion arise during meditation time, but only on the surface. But deep down, you remain very steady and firm. That's we are talking about the view. Meditation, right? Meditation is so thought are coming, right? So during meditation time, thought, emotions, perceptions are arising. Is the nature, right? Arising and departure. Remaining, arising, departure. Any thought arise, comes, remain, disappear. That's the nature. So the meditation means whenever this thought perception arising, departure, there you will not accept and reject. So you just remain your mind with the natural purity, So thought coming and arising, but you have no reject, no accept, no rejecting. So that's meditation means. Now the action means, so action is your mind is completely during meditation time, its mind is free from the perceptions. It means like when we see, when we hear, when we smell, when we taste. So that these are perceptions. Meditation time, So you will control those perceptions during meditation time, then that's called action. So view, action, meditation action, but we have to know the ground level, path and fruit. So we have to distinguish ordinary mind and the Rigpa awareness mind. We have to know the nature of the Rigpa, which is 3. Meditation, then approaching on the base of spontaneous presence, approaching on the base of primordial purity, and unify this together. And then through meditation, that will lead you to the Dharmakaya and the Nirmanakaya. Dharmakaya is the result of our inner luminosity mind, lucidity mind. Nirmanakaya is the result of the outer luminous mind. So that will lead you to the ground, path and base. So once we know this, then we have to view meditation actions. So that's what we call introducing the Rigpa awareness. So you introduce Rigpa awareness mind. So that's the okay, I want to read this next one. But since neither the suffering nor the suffer truly exist, why should I turn away the misery of all? There is no ground for argument. Will it prevent my own suffering? Surely I should prevent the suffering of all. If not, since I am not just like other sentient beings, I should not prevent my own suffering either. Since this compassion will bring me much misery, why should I exert myself to develop it? Should I contemplate the suffering of living creatures? How could be the misery of compassion be what is it?
More.
Huh?
More. More.
Will disappear. If by one person's suffering, the suffering of many would be destroyed, surely kind-hearted people would accept it for the sake of themselves and others. Thus the Bodhisattva Supaspa Chandra, although aware of them, harm the king would cause him, accept his own suffering, in order to eradicate the misery of menace. Okay, so I may have some questions. Anybody have questions? Yeah.
Geshe, you spoke about that pure essence mind. Is that the mind that we carry through from life to?
Yeah.
Yes.
When we clear like mind.
That's the clear one.
Yeah. It's called the mother kill light mind. Mother. 2 types of clear light mind, right? Mother kill light mind and child kill light mind. So ordinary people, everybody experiences mother kill light mind. Child kill light mind is, which is like your practice, which recognize, combine, and then your death is not ordinary death. So you combine, like mother and child come together. You know, so your daily practice, whatever you do practice, right? Compassion, meditation, all child kill light mind. So you can combine this together. That makes sense?